guys, today we are going to be playing with a palette that I am so excited to show you. I mean, most of you already know that I have this because I feel like I've been talking about this palette and like the other palettes from this brand in all of my videos lately because honestly, they've kind of blown me away and I'm so excited to just be sharing more from them. So we're of course going to be talking about Blendbunny Cosmetics. They did send me their two oldest palettes after I reviewed the Dollhouse palette. So we're gonna be playing with the Blends palette today, which is their rainbow palette. This is the first palette that they came out with. And this palette is like everything you ever need in a matte eyeshadow. Like this is basically your go-to rainbow everyday whatever it is that you want palette. Honestly, I have not been able to put this down. Like I will be completely honest. All of the palettes have been on my vanity since the day that I got them and I keep reaching for them, especially on days where I'm not filming. This is like all I want to use. Like all I want to do is like use the mattes from Blendbunny, use some of my single shimmers in my collection that really spark joy that I don't get to use that often, and it's just been such a good time and I'm so excited to be doing some looks with this palette on camera for you guys and yeah, just show you how awesome this palette is. So clearly you can tell that I'm already obsessed with this. My review is going to be that this palette is awesome, but I hope that you get some inspiration from this. So we're just gonna jump in. We're gonna do this in the same way that I did my last 3-look video, and then I'm going to do one full look on camera and then I'm going to show you like some quick snippets of like the looks that I've filmed otherwise without like talking through all of them. So I will save the other 2 looks for like the end of the video, but we're gonna be, you know, digging into this now and doing a look with it. So I am thinking today that I wanna do something that sort of just, I'm feeling very matchy today. So I just want to kind of like match my sweater. I'm not sure like how properly the colors are showing up. I feel like it's looking a little bit dark on camera, but this is like a navy blue. It has a dark brown stripe in it. It has orange and like a cream color. So I kind of want to use like the same colors in the palette on my eyes to sort of just make a cohesive look. I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna do that yet. I haven't thought about that, but I'm gonna figure something out, and I thought that that would just be kind of fun and a way for me to maybe use a color combination that I wouldn't otherwise use. And I also haven't really used a lot of these colors in my other 2 looks, so yeah, I think that's just what we're gonna go ahead and do. So I'm obviously priming my eyes with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base, which I have done in all of my looks. I do have a code with Blendbunny. I think it's just Annette. It is affiliated, but it will save you 10% off if you're interested in getting anything from the brand. I would honestly highly recommend everything. Their brushes are great. Their palettes are great. You really can't go wrong if you want to try anything from Blendbunny. And if you haven't already, like, definitely keep an eye on this brand because it's rare for me to say that I'm like obsessed with a new brand as soon as I try it, but like there's something about their formula that is just, it's just so good, but also so user-friendly and beginner-friendly at the same time. If you're someone who's like scared of colorful eyeshadow, this would be like a really good brand and formula, I feel like, to try because they're very easy to use despite being very pigmented at the same time. I don't know. I don't want to really get into like the review of this until the end of the video, but just trust me when I say that it is a really nice formula. So I'm thinking I want to do maybe like a white inner corner to pull in like the cream color here. And I feel like on the eyes it's gonna pull a little bit more cream than white anyway because I don't have like a white base down. And then for my crease, maybe I can do like some of these browns and oranges and deepen it up with the dark blue. And then I'm not sure exactly what I'd want to do on my lid, but definitely going to be like a shimmer from somewhere else because I'm not someone who does all matte looks. I don't find that they, number one, wear very well on me because a lot of the times, like, I wouldn't say I have watery eyes, but sometimes I do tend to water a little bit just like in the inner corner here, and like this part always gets messed up. So I just like having shimmers there because otherwise having an all matte eye look is just not going to wear very well. So I think I'm gonna start with the white just so that I make sure that I have enough room for this and I don't kind of forget when I go in with the other matte. So I'm just gonna kind of pack that in the inner corner of my eye here as my inner corner highlight. And like I said, this isn't going to be like super stark white just because I don't have a white base down. And so it's gonna kind of blend in a little bit with my skin color, which is totally fine. And I think this is doing exactly what it is that I wanted to do. I might do some sort of a white iridescent shimmer over the top of this when I'm done, but for now I'm just gonna kind of pack this on and make this nice and bright. See, like that is really nice. That is a beautiful white, and I think if you did like a cut crease or something like that and pack this over the top, that would also look really nice. Now let's go in with some matte. So let's see, I think that the color that's gonna match this orange the best is probably going to be this one. So I'm gonna use that in my crease as my transition shade. Maybe I could mix these two. I feel like this orange is a little bit more of like a muted orange, but I feel like on the eyes, maybe this one is going to look a little bit closer to what's on my shirt. I'm gonna use this one. I'm gonna use one of the Blendbunny brushes. This is the B1. There's no rhyme or reason for which brush I'm using for what when I use my brushes. I really just grab one that's like a size that I like and I go in with it. Like, I know these are like color coded so that, you know, you can use the right brush with the same or with the correct depth of color, if that makes sense. So like something that's dark is supposed to be used for the densest, or like the darkest color that you're using in an eye look is supposed to be used with this brush, which clearly I'm not doing, but I'm not one who follows rules anyway, so it works out well. So do you see how pigmented that is? Like, I only dipped in once and that is absolutely stunning. So I'm just gonna take my time here. I think I'm gonna, maybe I'll use the blues under my eye. Maybe that could be kind of fun. So I'm actually not gonna take this underneath my eye. I'm just gonna put this in my crease, and I'm gonna also just work on blending this out as we go as well. I'm only gonna use this color in my crease. I don't think I need to use anything to blend this out with. And that's the theme that you'll see in all of my looks, is that I don't really ever use like light blending out shades or transition shades. Like, this is about as light as I will go as a transition shade, but that is just like personal preference. So I'm just gonna take my time here and get a good blend with this, but honestly, it's just so effortless that like that was so easy. So I'm not putting this like in the outer corner of my eye because I am going to use a blue here. I'm just gonna make sure I tap on my eyeshadow primer. But yeah, I am going to use the blue in the outer corner of my eye. So I don't wanna get this really muddy. I'm just gonna make sure that I don't like blend them in together too much or layer them over each other too much. I'm just gonna leave room for that blue in the outer corner. Of course, they are going to blend a little bit probably and get maybe slightly muddy, but that's okay because the blue is so dark that I think that I'm gonna probably avoid it getting too muddy, and it's just gonna look nice and deep. I think I'm going to take a little bit of one of the darker browns just to deepen up the orange with, and then like I said, I'll do the blue in the outer corner of my eye. So I'm gonna go in with a shade called Depth. I did not realize that that's what that shade was called. That is brilliant. I'm just gonna use the same brush here, and I'm gonna just basically put that, look how pigmented that is, just insane, right into my crease here just to deepen up the orange with. And this might be a little bit darker than the blue that I plan on using, but I still think that it's going to work out well. So we're gonna call this good for now. I'm probably gonna have to go in and finesse it a little bit more as we go along, but I don't like to perfect anything in the beginning until I've kind of put the colors down where it is that I want them. So next I'm gonna take the B2 brush from Blendbunny, which is more of a kind of small bullet brush type thing, and I'm gonna use the shade called Spellbound, which is this very dark navy blue shade. This looks so beautiful, and this is going to be my outer corner shade. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to look really nice. I'm also going to take this underneath my eye as well. This is like the same color as my shirt. I feel like my shirt kind of looks black, but is honestly like a very dark blue. And this is just going on so nicely. I'm having a little bit of fallout, which is one thing that I have noticed with some of the very dark mattes, is that if I pick up a little bit too much and I go in too heavy, I can tend to get a little bit of fallout, but that is purely my own fault because I don't tap off my brush. Like, I just don't do that because I want all the color on my eye. So I'm just taking this onto my lid as well because I am going to obviously put a shimmer on, and since I don't know yet, I just want to make sure that I have something to layer that shimmer over, because layering shimmers over mattes in this way, if you have like a gradient of a matte on your lid, is going to kind of create a bit of a gradient with the shimmer that you layer over it as well. But I mean, just look at the contrast between these colors. It just looks so good. So I'm going to use the same brush here and just sort of take that on the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. Not sure if I want to take this all the way across. Maybe I do, but this is such a nice color. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take this all the way across my lower lash line. I didn't really mean for this to get sort of winged out, but that is just where we're at. Sometimes that just happens. and my brush does what it wants me to do, and I just kind of go along with it. And now I have to try to repeat that exact thing on the other eye, which is always the struggle. Realizing right now that I'm just like such a basic beauty guru doing a neutral look with a pop of blue. Oh, what have I become? But at least I know that all of you probably have this color story in a palette already if you want to recreate anything like it, because who doesn't have a neutral palette with a pop of blue by now? Probably everybody who's ever been into makeup. These are not even at all which story of my life. So I know the blend on this eye is not perfect, but like, can you just see how just insanely smooth and just how much coverage like this color has? It's just absolutely insane. Like the depth of this and the richness of these dark mattes are just like unlike anything else that I feel like I've ever tried. So I'm gonna clean up this eye a little bit. And how I'm gonna do this is I'm just going to take it's not a translucent powder, it does have a little bit of color to it, but just like a face powder. And I'm just gonna use like a small like packing brush or whatever it is that you wanna use with some of that powder on it. And I'm just gonna kind of run that under the edge here and just sort of smooth this out. I really like how this is looking, and I'm thinking for the lid what I want to do is I want to do something very light iridescent blue. I think that could be kind of fun, like sort of what's on my nails. Like these are press-ons from Dashing Diva, if anybody is wondering, which is like all I ever use on my nails. So should I do like a cut crease to do this with? Maybe I do want to do a bit of a cut crease just to sort of clean up a little bit if I'm going to do a very, very light shade on my lid. Let me see if I have anything that's like super opaque that I can use. Maybe I can use my Bitterlace Beauty highlighter. That should be probably enough to sort of cover up everything that is on my lid here. Even though it does have a bit of a transparent base, I think that is going to be built up enough that I'll be able to not have to do a cut crease. Listen, I'm lazy. I don't like doing cut creases. Don't come for me. I can't help it. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to take some of my NYX glitter primer, because I know if I put this down, at least it's going to help this look a little bit more opaque. So I'm just gonna put this on basically all of my lid here where I want that highlighter to go. And since this is a very glittery formula, I do feel like you need to either spray your brush or use some kind of a glitter primer with this highlighter if you're going to use it on your eyes, because otherwise it's gonna end up all over your face, which is not really a good look because you want it to be where you want it to be, not everywhere. So this is the shade called Lucid. I've gotten a lot of questions about this when I use it, and I don't think this is available anymore, sadly, or like right now I should say, but they do usually restock pretty often, so just keep an eye on their website. But like, look how beautiful that is. That looks so pretty. Like these are wonderful as eyeshadows as well. And they can work as lid shades or inner corner shades or face highlighters. And I love this formula so much from Bitterlace Beauty. Oh, just look how pretty that is. And it's just gonna layer so well over that blue too. That is basically everything that I wanted in this look. I'm so happy with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish off because this is all I'm going to do for the eyeshadows, and I'll come back, show you the final look, and I will show you the other two looks that I've done with this palette as well. So hang on tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so here's how I decided to finish off, and I love this look, and I just realized that I just said hang on tight before I got to this. I've never said that before. That was kind of weird. Anyway, to finish off, I used some blue in my waterline. This is Prance, I think. I always say this wrong. It's Prance. Okay, it's Prance from ColourPop. Probably not available anymore. This and black liner and mascara. If you want to know what's on my lips, it's one of the lip clays from Kaleidos. It's in the shade Terra, because again, I just want everything to match today. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna show you the other two looks that I've done with this palette while I kind of show you some swatches of the palette, and then I will give you my review of the palette as well while everything is rolling. So yeah, overall, I've just had an amazing time with this palette. I'm so happy that I finally tried Blendbunny. Thank you, Blendbunny, for sending me the other two palettes after I reviewed the Dollhouse palette. That was honestly amazing, and I would have bought them myself if I hadn't gotten them in PR, because so blown away by the Blendbunny formula in general. and I can imagine myself just having so much fun with these. And I really liked both of the looks that I've done with this palette. I could honestly, I've done so many more, and I've done looks off camera, but I've combined like other things, and I feel like it didn't really like fit into this video. And I really like being able to do my makeup and not always feel like I, number one, have to film it, or number two, have to take pictures of it and like remember what I've used. Like, I want to be able to just enjoy my collection, enjoy what it is that I have, and just be able to have a good time with my makeup without it feeling like, even though this is like kind of what I do, I don't want it always to feel like work. So just trust me when I say I've used this palette a lot, and I've just had the best time. And I really like how the look turned out, and I really like just the blendability and the buildability, is that a word? Probably, of the matte formula from Blendbunny. I just think that her mattes are so easy to use. They are, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because I feel like the dark mattes are extremely pigmented right off the bat. They're super intense, but they blend out, and they're just so easy to work with. But the lighter mattes are a little bit more on the buildable sheer side, but not in a bad way. And I think that is because they're meant to be more like transition shades, which totally makes sense, because you do want the darkest shades to be the ones with the most punch. And then you want the lighter shades to be able to be blended and built easily, because that way you're going to, you know, just create more seamless looks. And I really think that Blendbunny just has such a unique and better formula than most other brands, if I'm being completely honest. The mattes are just so nice, and since this is an all matte palette, I think that if you've been looking for good, reliable, and colorful mattes, like, this is going to be the palette for you. If you buy this palette, just like myself, I feel bad for the rest of my collection, because I know I'm just going to be using this so often, because this palette is spectacular, and I'm not one who's like, oh my god, you need this palette in your collection. Like, I don't like to push things on anybody, but I feel like y'all need this palette, and I'm being dead serious right now, because it's so good, and you won't regret it if you pick it up. So that's basically going to be my review on this palette. Honestly, I just love it. There's nothing I don't like about this palette. I also really enjoy the size of this. I've showed it in some other videos as well, but the size of this palette is not that big. Like, I have an extremely small head. I'm trying to find something that I can kind of compare this to. Like, if you have my palette that I did in collaboration with Uden's Eye, like, this is a small palette, and you can tell that these are, honestly, like, these are both very small compared to like the amount of shadows that you're getting. And I feel like it's so compact that I would easily travel with this. I don't feel like the shadows are too fragile. Like, I would trust that this palette would hold up very well, you know, on an airplane or like in my handbag. Like, I would easily travel with this, and I love that for that reason, because it's always nice to have like like a palette that you have everything in when you do end up traveling somewhere, which, you know, hasn't happened a lot in the past couple of years, but things are finally starting to get a little bit more normal, which is great. So yeah, I guess that's just going to be like my thoughts and my review on this palette. I will of course link it down below if you want to go check it out. I would highly recommend it. I think that the brand is absolutely amazing. Don't forget to use a code. Doesn't have to be mine. I know a lot of people have codes, but if you do end up using mine, thank you so much. It really does help me out a lot, and that goes for all of you who use my codes all the time. It really does mean a lot to me, so thank you for that, because it's really nice to be able to just get a little bit of extra money in that I can put back into my channel by like buying more makeup that I clearly don't need. But if I can help you guys make better decisions, that is what I'm here for. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Blendbunny, again for sending me these palettes. My next video is probably going to be with the Surge palette, and I'm going to do this in the same way that I've done this video, because it's just been a lot of fun doing them this way, because I feel like I get to play with my makeup on an alone time a little bit more. Like I said, thank you so much for watching. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.